Hi, I'm Sable Chicken, and I just wanted to make a video response here to InventorGorilla. The picture you see here is InventorGorilla, and he's a Christian, a young in the faith. He's been a Christian about, I think he said, 8 months. He was just baptized this weekend. Congratulations, InventorGorilla. I'm pleased to know that you are a brother in Christ. And I really admire your boldness on YouTube and your willingness to just jump in there and just say what's on your mind. Now I know that you are young in the faith, and there is a lot to learn, and you know that. It's a lifelong learning. I don't think that you can ever get to the point where you feel like, well, you know, I've learned it all about God. I mean, how can you? So, I apologize for kind of slicing and dicing your video here, because I know you're not going to like that, but I think it's important in this case about what you're saying, mainly not because I'm trying to pwn you. It's that I think that when we come into the knowledge that God is real, our eyes are open to a lot of things, but not everything. It's a slow process of undoing, like brainwashing. And I think one of the biggest brainwashing things that we're all involved in is evolution, thinking that evolution is true. And how do you get around that? And the creation story, you know, how could it possibly be that God created the world in, 6 days, and then the 7th day He rested? Doesn't, in a naturalistic sense, how is that possible? It isn't. If you're in a naturalistic mindset. So anyway, I'm just going to let him talk a little bit, and then I'm going to comment on it.
I just want to point out something that I've thought about. Okay? I'm not saying this is true. I'm saying possibly. Okay? Now, a lot of theists tend to take the 6-day creation story as literally 6 days, and what they use is, the sun up and then the sun went down and blah blah blah, and that's their reasoning behind it was 6 actual days. But see, I think there's something else we're missing there.
Okay, I'm going to stop right here because, okay, first of all, he thinks that, we're thinking the sun going up and the sun coming down is making us think that it's 1 day. But if he actually looks at the Bible again and reads it, he'll see that it says there was evening and there was morning, and that was the first day. I mean, it right out says that was the first day. And then it goes, there's evening and morning. That was 2nd day. Evening and morning, 3rd day. I mean, it's really, really clear. I mean, there's certain places in the Bible where you have to say that's pretty clear. I mean, so to go, well, we're pulling it out of the sky and out of our imagination to kind of come up with if this is a day. I mean, it's real obvious it's a day. Just saying.
I think that now the sun going up and down. Now, if you're outside of the solar system.
See, now this is where you're really getting into naturalistic thinking, and this is very much like how atheists think, because now you're thinking, well, the sun went up and the sun went down. What does that mean? Because you're stuck on sun going up and sun going down. when that doesn't really have anything to do with it, okay? There was evening and there was morning, and it was the first day. So listen carefully how you go off into, and you catch yourself too, which is really interesting. You catch yourself like, wow, this is really ridiculous. And the atheists should be able to do the same thing. They should catch themselves and go, this isn't even making sense, because now you're applying a naturalistic set of standards to God. Okay?
Side of the solar system, which God would be, looking down on the earth, then it would really never really go up or down unless it went around the center of the Milky Way galaxy, or I don't know. Okay, look, this is...
Yeah, see, that's where it gets crazy, because you know as a Christian that God can be right next to you, and He also can be right next to a Christian that may be on the other side of the world. So God is not bound by naturalistic set of rules that say, well, if I'm here, I can't also be over there. God is so big and encompassing that He's not like outside of the universe looking in at this pinpoint, this speck that's called the earth, and then thinking, well, then the sun is going up and down, because at that point the sun is a speck too. You see, and that's how it's like, wait a second, that doesn't even make sense, and it doesn't make sense in a Christian worldview. So when we're looking at the beginning of creation, and that God created the earth, He spoke everything into existence. He spoke the whole universe into existence. You cannot explain that through naturalistic terms. So it's kind of silly for a Christian to try to think of the perspective of, we're understanding this the best we can as ancient humans. I hope that makes sense.
This is my point. What if a day is 1,000,000 years? Or a day is 1,000,000,000 years?
See, now here you're hoping that it doesn't really matter, that you're compromising for the atheists. You're saying, atheists, I want to be your friend, and I'm willing to show you that I'm willing to compromise in your direction, and let's say it doesn't matter if it's a day or 1,000,000 years. The atheist is not going to compensate in your direction. Okay? So to try to change what the Bible actually says, when it's very clear that it was one day, and then the next day was the second day, to be in millions or billions or whatever other amount of time, I mean, why are we compromising in that way? Why is it necessary for us to say, well, God didn't really speak a life and the solar system into existence? It took a really long time, and He had to use natural means to make it happen. God is the one who created, you know, all the natural laws. So I hope you understand what I'm getting at here.
What if our whole concept of time and the way that the Bible was translated into a way that earlier people, 2,000 years ago, could understand time? People back then didn't think in terms of millions or billions of years. They couldn't really comprehend that. So
well, okay, they say that now the translation from the original text into, like the Council of Nicaea, or, has, somehow it's got changed, and they're like, well, you know, we need to change this because we don't have any concept of millions of years to one day. I think people 2,000 years ago had a concept that you couldn't build a house in one day. Okay, they had a concept already that it takes a long time in a naturalistic sense to build something or to create something. It doesn't really make sense to say that something was lost in translation in this particular sense when it's so clear. This is another compromising for the atheist, and we don't need to do that. Okay, what we need to do is look into what the creationists have to say. People have really studied it. And we can be solid in our foundation, and this is foundational stuff.